Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm Ace Conzo for those of you who are new. In the last video, I went over a general idea of what Raid Shadow Legends is about. Today, I wanted to talk more about specific progression for your account. A few things I wanted to talk about are champions, campaign, dungeons, and arena. What I've come to find out is that every encounter you do has different mechanics that require specific champions. And it's always ideal to bring the right set of champions or like team compositions. Some of you guys are going to acquire champions they're going to be great in some areas but terrible in others. Now, what I love about this game is that every encounter is different. Every encounter, every boss is different by some kind of variation. Which can also bring a good challenge for you or any outside of the box thinker. The main goal is always to progress, no matter how much or how little. We're all looking to attain similar goals in the end. So I wanted to get into the champions first, just to kind of break them down. I do have quite a bit of a selection on my end here. But I wanted to just go over basic. Let's see. Actually, we could just do this now. So as you acquire champions when you start the game, you'll end up going into what's called an uncommon champion. No, it is a common. I apologize. It is a common, and then goes into uncommons. Then you have your rares, your epics, your legendaries, and as I said before, your mythical champions. Now, what that means is the level of champion that they are. Whenever you generally get a common champion, they're going to be a 1-star, and the levels of these champions basically are reset for every. What is it called? Shoot. So you have your levels, and then you have your. Let me apologize here. Your ranks. Sorry, of course. So you have your levels, and then you have your ranks. So when you get a common champion, they'll generally come in a 1-star. You have to level them up to 10. So for every rank they are, it maxes out at a total of 10. So a 1-star is going to be 10, a 2-star is going to be 20, 3-star 30, 4-star 40, and 40, 5-star 50, and then finally 6-star being the highest tier at the moment of 60, level 60 champion being the max. So you have just as well as the levels or the rarity of the champion, we can say, right? So your common champions are going to be level 1s. Your uncommon champions, since they're a higher rarity, are going to be a higher level. So your higher levels are going to be generally a 2-star, and as you level them up or increase their ranks, then you'll end up getting you can basically feed into or use what they call chickens in this game to increase their ranks. So here we go with the rarity from a 3-star, a 4-star, and finally you can see we have we can have 6-star level 60 champions. Now you may be wondering what those red stars mean. Or those purple stars, I apologize. So these purple stars, I guess this would be a better example. These are actually awakenings. So you have your basic awakening from a regular gold star, so you can go all the way up to a 6-star 60 and still have no awakening or no ascension. I apologize. We can have no awakening here, but we do have a ascension, and of course we have to ascend our champions. So not only do we have to level them up, rank them up, but we also have to ascend our champions. Ascending our champions require potions that we get in our dungeon area, which I will kind of go into that in a little bit. But here, kind of a basic breakdown. Commons start 10, uncommons are 20, and so on and so forth. You level them up just as such. And finally, we can talk about the awakening. So leveling them up doesn't finish, or ascending them doesn't finish their full build. You also have to ascend them, or awaken them. Here I go messing up the names again, right? So awakening a champion is actually new to Raid as of this year. I want to say it was about mid-year, maybe early this year in 2023. So our awakenings now have different levels of awakenings, obviously from 1 star all the way to 6 star, just like you do with your ascensions. And you can get these different ways. They've offered them through tournaments and events, as well as through soulstones. And now you're probably asking yourself, what are soulstones? What is all this currency that we use in game? Basically, it's just different aspects of materials for you to be able to do certain things in the game, and this is similar to a lot of other games out there. So it's just a matter of being able to just become familiar with them over time. Brews help build XP. So if I wanted to go in here and level with brews, I can always do that. As well as feeding into other champions, and that will help gain my XP. As you can see here, this champion here is a level 1, level 7, a rarity 1, level 7 champion. And if I wanted to gain some XP, all I have to do is to throw some brews in there and level him up, right? I can also use champions as what they call food, right? And I can use that experience to level up my champion. And then obviously once I get once I get fully leveled up to my final level, I can always rank them up to a 2-star using what is food here, what would be considered food here, right? So they give us these 2-star chickens, 3-star chickens, 4-star chickens, 5-star chickens. Okay, so how do I level up my common? Well, simple. We just use one of our other commons in order to level them up as food or experience. And so on and so forth, right? So leveling them up, giving them their ranks, and then fully ascending them is going to cost us quite a bit of work just in and of itself, right? Now, you're not done there. There is a lot more to a champion than just leveling them up and ascending them and fully awakening them. There's also gear. Their skill sets. Their skill sets require books, and as you would know, they're based off of rarity. So our rare books, our epic books, our legendary books, and our mythical books. Every champion has their set rarity, and you can't use the rarity from the previous one. So although I may have a rare book here, I cannot use that on a greater rarity. Now you can do the opposite, where I can use a rare book on a rare, but I can also use an epic book on a rare, right? But that is definitely not ideal. Definitely do not recommend that kind of stuff. And that would be their level up, their books. Believe it or not, there is still more. We have masteries for champions, which this is easy. There's only one. There's two ways to get masteries in this game. One of them would be to farm farm a stage known as, here we go to the dungeons, as a Minotaur's lair, or Minotaur's labyrinth. And as you can see, there's also different rarities for these scrolls, and these scrolls will eventually will make you be able to unlock your champion's true potential. Now, the reason why I want to go over this, guys, for most of you new guys and maybe some of you older guys here, I wanted to talk about how it's important to make sure that not only are we fully getting them leveled all the way, making sure that they get mastered and then they get fully booked. We can argue awakenings later. Just fully leveling them up all the way to 6-star, 60, full ascensions with all their books and all their proper masteries in order for them to work as intended. There are a lot of champs in this game. I believe there's over 850 last I checked champions in this game, and there are ratings on champions that may be unfair. Now, this is an in-game rating. There's also other websites out there like Hell Hades and Gesto Gaming that have rarities, and a Yumilove that have rankings on these champions, and they kind of break down where they're best fit. And it's only fair to fully get them leveled up and geared correctly in order for you to kind of make these ratings. Just kind of saying, because you can basically say this champ is amazing, or this champ is just terrible, and now these are, you know, globally seen, so just keep that in mind. So yeah, along with doing all that, of course, we have to gear our champion. Now, if you guys have been playing other games, which I'm sure you guys all have, there is gear involved, and depending on the type of gear or champion that you have, is kind of how you would set your gear towards. Now, I'm not going to go into full detail of what gear to use and how to read it and all that stuff. That's going to be for a later video. But I wanted to just kind of talk about DPS champions, support champions, and I wanted to talk about survivability. So your tanks, right? So a lot of you guys have played WoW, a lot of you guys have played other RPGs where you have your DPS, which is usually your squishy, you have your tanks, which is usually the tankiest, right? The most health and all that. And you have your supports, which are generally really fast, kind of squishy sometimes, kind of, it all depends on the variation of the champion, right? So just make sure to read their skill set, see what they're doing, because it tells you here that she's doing damage, right? She's doing damage, right? And then you have other champions that are using skills as a buff or a debuff. These skill sets may be on a different video, but basically, generally, a support champion is always going to have skills. And I think it actually tells you up top. It does. It tells you support here. Here she would be an attack champion. This gentleman here is a defense champion, but he's not just a tank. He's also a DPS, or a damage champion. Simple as that, guys. Just read the kit. See what they do, kind of put them together, build your compositions, and you guys can give them a rating, right? We're not done yet, but that kind of breaks down the champions. Let's just say, just as an example, I'm in here because there's a mission for me to do to summon a champion, right? So I'm over here, I get excited because, hey, this is not something that I've seen before. I haven't seen who this guy is. Well, what does he do? Okay, well, he does this. Alright, that's cool. Or, I don't need that. Since my account is past this, or it's not. Right? I get to do it again. And that's as easy as it is, right? Now, acquiring these is extremely difficult. And, of course, this is how we get our champions in this game. I apologize. Acquiring these may not be difficult, but there are ways to get them for free in the game that can be difficult. That's kind of how I wanted to break that down. You guys saw me go in the tavern and kind of talk about the levels and how to work on them. I think the best way to tell you is through campaign is the best way that you can level up your champion, your skill set, become familiar with them, and grind your food and grind how you're progressing. Because I will give you just a general ballpark that if you're stuck in early stages here, you're going to struggle in other areas of the game. So just kind of a general guideline in your progression, understanding the champions, and then understanding that I can only get so far for now, is kind of what I'm trying to get after today. So use that as kind of your early games, your gauge. So if you're struggling here, you're stuck basically in the early games, early part of the game. If you move on to, and I keep doing this, into these dungeons, which of course if you're following the missions and the quests, it tells you to look at this area right now. Right in the center here we have our affinity area. It has our affinity area that has our potion keeps. Okay. We talked about Minotaur for our scrolls, and as far as artifacts go, we have 3 different dungeons here: Ice Golem's Peak, Dragon's Lair, and Fire Knight's Castle. Now that's where you're going to grab your artifacts, which is part of a champion's gear set. You have a weapon, you have a helmet, you have a shield, you have a glove, you have a chest plate, and you have boots. Basic, right? Now there are accessories that you can add to your champion to increase their potential. Now these accessories are broken down into rings, amulets, and banner. And like I said, building your champion, having all of these unlocked and fully leveled up is going to be the ideal key to your survivability or to your potential for your champion. And so how you get these guys, it's going to be through this, right? And I talked about accessories. This is where we get our accessories from. There's pretty much just one place early on that you could get accessories from. There are other stages in the area which are called Iron Twins and Sand Devils and Phantom Shogun. These guys are basically the awakenings to those gear sets, to the artifacts and to the accessories. And this guy over here is to be able to get essences in order to buy your souls for your champion's awakenings, right? Simple as that. So we talked about campaign. We talked about champions, right? We talked about campaign. We talked about a little bit about dungeons. There's going to be other videos, and there's tons of guides out there, guys. And also, well, yeah, there's tons of guides on how to do each one, but I just kind of want to just reiterate, build your champion, kind of gauge where you're at, right? Use them to progress through the dungeons, and then whenever you're wondering, okay, cool, I got this champion, and who do I 6-star next, or how do I do this, or how do I, these are areas that you need to focus on and you need to work on. But a good indicator, a good gauge, or kind of like a go-to automatically is going to be your faction wars. Now you only have 2 factions open a day, but every once in a while they open up 3 because of the odd number of factions currently. And so whenever you go into your factions and you have only a specific amount or specific champions, let me see if I can find kind of a good example here. Oops. So I can't use any of these champions, right? Because they're in a different faction. So these champions are not only broken down in rank and rarity, but they're also Yeah, rank or melee. They're also broken down per faction. So dwarves, high elves, dark elves, etc., etc. Today's faction is the dwarves, and just as a for instance, like let's just say I have, this guy and maybe this guy and maybe this guy. These guys aren't leveled up yet. Okay, so I have to take the time to focus, or if I'm struggling with this area, who is the best to focus, and how is the team composition building up towards, right? Those are the things that I think about whenever I'm building a champion, or where I need to focus on next. Where am I struggling? Why am I struggling? So I have to work on that. What am I missing? Why is it taking so long for me to do this? Like I don't want to spend that much time, and I don't think you want to spend a whole lot of time on there, but I think that's going to be, everyone's their own opinion, that kind of stuff. But yeah, and yeah, I mean it's all about just playing the game to your fun, but it's just how it is. The last thing I wanted to talk about, guys, is going to be arena. For all you PvP adventurists, you competition or competitive guys, this is basically where player versus player, right? So this is where I test my ability, and I can test to see, we have similar champions. Can I go first? Can I do my skills? Can I take them out? Like, this is kind of the idea, right? Just a quick run here. I'm running it on auto, of course, and I'm just letting it play out. But yeah, this is generally what you're looking for when you're playing your game, is a victory. That's it. That's how it goes. That's it for today, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. Don't forget to leave a like on your way out. Come hang out with us on Twitch every Monday night at 7 p.m. to 12 p.m. or 12 a.m. Mountain Standard Time. As always, much love. Peace.